What's up, my people? We're back with another video. This time we're going to be covering Madden 26 and all of the HBCU players that are featured in this year's game. First, we're going to kick things off with the Atlanta Falcons, who has 2 HBCU players on their roster. First up, we got Kadaro Hodge, the wide receiver out of Prairie View A&M, who went undrafted in 2018. He's a 71 overall with a normal development trait. He's 6'2", 208 pounds, 30 years of age. He has a 90 speed, 88 acceleration, 83 catching, and 79 catching traffic. And Kadaro Hodge is the number 174th ranked wide receiver in the league based on his overall, which puts him in the top 44% of wide receivers. Also with Atlanta, we have right tackle Brandon Parker, who is from North Carolina A&T. He's a 7-year vet, 29 years of age, and he's 6'8", 320 pounds. He has a normal development trait as well, and he's a 67 overall. And when it comes to his core attributes, he has a pretty good lead block, which is an 84. His strength is an 84, and his impact blocking is pretty good as well, which is an 82. And Brandon Parker is the 45th ranked right tackle in the league based on his overall rating. That puts him in the top 42% of right tackles. And now we're going to move on to the Baltimore Ravens, who has the only HBCU player that was drafted. And you guys can see they have his real player photo in the game, but look at his avatar. That guy right there looks like one of the generated players in this game. Now Carson comes in as a 67 overall. He's 6'7", 314. You guys can see that he's a rookie from Alabama A&M. Now they got my boy with a normal development trait here, and some of his top core attributes is his strength, which is an 81, his lead blocking, which is a 79, his impact blocking, which is an 83. And currently Carson is the 49th ranked right tackle in the league based on his overall rating. That puts him in the top 42% for right tackles. And next we're moving on to the Buffalo Bills, who has Brandon Codgerton from North Carolina Central. He's a cornerback, and you can see they don't have a photo of this kid. So Brandon Codgerton comes in as a 65 overall. He's 5'8", 176 pounds, and his development trait is normal. And some of his top core attributes are his speed, which is an 89, his acceleration, which is a 92, and his jumping, which is an 84. And those ratings make Brandon the 267th best cornerback in the league, which puts him in the top 74%. And now we're moving on to the Chicago Bears, where we have Joshua Miles, the left tackle from Morgan State. Joshua comes in as a 55 overall. He's 6'5", 325 pounds. He has a normal development trait as well. And his top core attributes are strength, which is an 85, and lead blocking, which is a 78, and impact blocking, which is a 79. And those ratings rank Joshua as the 102nd best left tackle in the league, which puts him in the top 96%. And now we're moving on to the Browns, who has Jason Ivey from North Carolina A&T. Jason comes in as a 60 overall. He's 6'5", 287 pounds, and his top core attributes are his strength, which is a 78, his lead block, which is a 80, and his impact blocking, which is a 79. And currently Jason is ranked number 94 when it comes to the best right tackles in the league, and that puts him in the top 78% of right tackles. And now we're moving on to the Green Bay Packers, who has Emmanuel Wilson from Fort Valley State. And Emmanuel comes in as a 65 overall. He's 5'11", 226 pounds, and for his core attributes, he has a 90 rating for speed and a 93 rating for acceleration, and his carrying is an 84. And Emmanuel Wilson is ranked as the 173rd best running back in the league, and that overall puts him in the top 80% for running backs. And now on to the Houston Texans, who has one of the best HBCU players on their roster, and that's Tytus Howard. He's a right guard from Alabama State. He's a 78 overall, 6'5", 322 pounds. He currently has a normal dev trait, and his core attributes are his strength, which is an 85, his pass block power, which is an 85, his pass blocking, which is an 83, his lead blocking, which is an 82, and his impact blocking, which is an 83, and his awareness, which is an 82. And with those ratings, Tytus Howard is ranked as the 19th best right guard in the league. His overall rating puts him in the top 16% of right guards. And now we're moving on to the Indianapolis Colts, who has the best HBCU player in the league on their roster in Grover Stewart, the defensive tackle. He's a 91 overall, 6'4", 315 pounds, and Grover has a star development trait, which means he develops faster than normal. And they did my boy Grover wrong when it came to his face scan as well. And for his core attributes, this guy has a 91 rating for strength, block shedding is a 91, play recognition is an 89, his tackle rating is an 87, his awareness rating is an 86. And with those ratings, Grover Stewart is ranked as the 11th best defensive tackle in the league. And that rating puts him in the top 3% of defensive tackles. And now we're moving on to the Kansas City Chiefs, who has Joshua Williams, the cornerback from Fayetteville State. Joshua comes in as a 75 overall. He's 6'3", 193 pounds. His development trait is normal, and his top core attributes are his speed, which is an 89, his acceleration, which is a 93, his agility, which is an 86, and his jumping, which is an 88. And with those ratings, Joshua ranks as the 97th best cornerback in the league, which puts him in the top 24% of cornerbacks. And now on to the Rams, who has Xavier Smith, the wide receiver from Florida A&M. Xavier is currently a 63 overall, 5'9" in height, 174 pounds. His development trait is normal, and his top core attributes are his speed, which is a 90, his acceleration, which is a 93, and his agility, which is a 78. This ranks Xavier as the 343rd best wide receiver in the league, which puts him in the top 85% for receivers. The Rams also have Kobe Durant from South Carolina State. He's 5'11", 180 pounds. Kobe is a 76 overall with a normal development trait. Kobe's top core attributes are his speed, which is a 93, his acceleration, which is a 94, his agility, which is an 86, and his jumping, which is an 85. And those ratings make Kobe the 78th best cornerback in the league, and that puts him in the top 19% of cornerbacks. Now we're moving on to the Miami Dolphins, who has Keon Smith, the left tackle from Fayetteville State. Keon is a 58 overall, 6'5", 306 pounds. He comes in with a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his strength, which is a 75, his lead blocking, which is an 83, and his impact blocking, which is a 73. Now Keon is ranked as the 98th best left tackle in the league, and that puts him at the top 89% when it comes to left tackles. Next, we're going to check out the Vikings, who has Javon Hargrave, arguably the most decorated HBCU player in the league right now. And they did my boy face scan, no justice. Javon is currently an 82 overall, 6'2", 305 pounds from South Carolina State. Javon has a star development trait, and his top core attributes are his strength, which is an 87, his finesse moves, which is an 86, his tackle, which is an 88, and his awareness, which is an 85. And Javon is ranked as the 33rd best defensive tackle in the league, and that puts him in the top 11% of defensive tackles. Next, we're going to move on to the New England Patriots, who has Isaiah Bolden, the cornerback from Jackson State. Isaiah is currently a 65 overall, 6'2", 205 pounds. He comes in with a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his speed, which is a 95, his acceleration, which is a 93, and his jumping, which is a 90. And with those ratings, Isaiah ranks as the 280th best cornerback in the league, and that puts him in the top 74% of cornerbacks. And on to the New York Giants, who has Jamie Gillian, the punter from Arkansas Pine Bluff. Jamie is currently a 71 overall. He's 6'1", 207 pounds. He also has a star development trait. And Jamie's top core attributes are his kick power, which is a 90, his kick accuracy, which is a 76, and his speed, which is a 76. And with those ratings, Jamie ranks as the 30th best punter in the league, which puts him in the top 65% of punters. Now on to the New York Jets, who has Aaron Smith from South Carolina State. He is currently a 63 overall, 6'2" in height, 230 pounds. He comes in with a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his acceleration, which is an 87, his speed, which is an 83, and his hit power, which is a 79, and his pursuit, which is a 79 as well. And as a rookie, Aaron comes in as the 101st best middle linebacker in the league, and that puts him in the top 67%. And the last team on our list is the Washington Commanders, who has two HBCU players. First, we're going to start with Trent Scott from Grambling State. And Trent is currently a 57 overall, 6'5", 320 pounds. He currently has a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his strength, which is an 80, his lead blocking, which is a 76, and his impact blocking, which is a 78. And with those ratings, Trent ranks as the 100th best left tackle in the league, which puts him in the top 91%. The Commanders also have a cornerback who's from an HBCU, and that's Bobby Price. Bobby Price comes in as a 60 overall, 6'3", 208 pounds. He has a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his speed, which is a 90, his acceleration, which is a 91, and his jumping, which is a 96. With those ratings, Bobby ranks as the 346th best cornerback in the league, and that puts him in the top 93% of cornerbacks. And in the free agent pool, we have a few players as well. First, we're going to start off with the right guard Mark Evans, who's from Arkansas Pine Bluff. He's a 61 overall, 6'4", 295 pounds. He has a normal development trait, and his core attributes are his strength, which is a 79, and his lead blocking, which is an 80. And with those ratings, Mark Evans ranks as the 97th best right guard in the league, and that puts him in the top 82% of right guards. And for right tackles, we have Ricky Lee from North Carolina A&T. He's a 57 overall. He's 6'5", 289 pounds. He also has a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his strength, which is a 78, his lead blocking, which is a 82, and his impact blocking, which is a 75. And with those ratings, Ricky Lee is the 100th best right tackle in the league, and that puts him in the top 89% of right tackles. And for edge rushers, we have Deshawn Dixon from Norfolk State. He's a 60 overall, he's 6'5", 247 pounds, who has a normal development trait. His top core attributes are his acceleration, which is a 87, his speed, which is a 82, his tackle, which is a 77, and his agility, which is a 76. Now this ranks Deshawn Dixon as the 143rd best right edge rusher, and that also puts him in the top 96% of right edge rushers. And for defensive tackles, we have Joshua Pryor from Bowie State. He's currently a 58 overall. He's 6'4", 280 pounds. He also has a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his strength, which is a 76, his tackle, which is a 77, his speed, which is a 77 as well, and his acceleration, which is an 80. And with those ratings, Joshua ranks as the 294th best defensive tackle in the league, and that puts him in the top 95% of defensive tackles. And for Mike linebackers, we got Aubrey Miller from Jackson State. He's a 63 overall, 6 feet, 229 pounds. He comes in with a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his acceleration, which is an 84, pursuit, which is a 83, and his speed, which is an 82, and he has an 89 hit power. Aubrey is currently ranked as the 107th best middle linebacker in the league, and that puts him in the top 67% of middle linebackers. And for the cornerbacks, we got Antonio Hamilton Sr. from South Carolina State. He's a 72 overall, he's 6 feet, 195 pounds, and his development trait is normal. His top core attributes are his speed, which is a 90, his acceleration, which is an 89, and his jumping, which is an 88. This ranks Antonio as the 139th best cornerback in the league, and that puts him in the top 38% of cornerbacks. He also got Keenan Isaac, who's from Alabama State, and he is currently a 61 overall, 6'2", 186 pounds. He also has a normal development trait, and his top core attributes are his speed, which is an 86, his agility, which is an 87, and his acceleration, which is a 92. Keenan Isaac ranks as the 339th best cornerback in the league, and that puts him in the top 89% of cornerbacks. And that's all of the HBCU players that are featured in Madden 26. And when you guys are playing your franchises, maybe you'll sign one of these guys. And let me know if you made any of these guys into stars, especially those free agents. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and notification bell and subscribe to the channel. And we're out of here, man. Peace.